www.themicroeffect.com.
Crazy dream about some folks who love this country, who all began to dream the same dream. And when the morning came, there arose across this nation people thinking one and the same. And they awoke to find their freedom and all their liberties had gradually been taken away. And when they realized the danger to their posterity, I heard those patriotic people say, we want this country back. We ain't just joking, Jack. We want our liberty and our dignity and our freedoms and our rights restored. We want this country back. She's been driven way off track. We're wide awake and we're madder than hell now, and we ain't gonna take it anymore. No, we're not gonna take it anymore. Remember golden days when the stars and stripes forever symbolize your glorious name, America. But now it's all been changed, and when we gaze upon the glory, it's hard to fight back feelings of shame. Work it up with lying politicians and greedy corporations who have sold us out time and again. And we're sick and tired of sending our soldiers off to wars that we were never meant to win. We want this country back. We ain't just joking, Jack. We want our liberty and our dignity and our freedoms and our rights restored. We want this country back. She's been driven way off track. We're wide awake and we're madder than hell now, and we ain't gonna take it anymore. No, we're not gonna take it anymore. Now we know our cause is right and our victory's on the way, and we won't give up the fight till we hear 200 million say, we want this country back. We ain't just joking, Jack. We want our liberty.
Good afternoon, folks, and this is Maggie Rose. This is the Microeffect Radio Broadcasting Network out of Idaho, bringing you the New Concord Hour with your host, Maggie Rose. And today's date is June the 29th, and we are going into the last part for now of what is going on with America again and how we can take back this country. I'd like us all just to take a couple seconds to think about what happened in Turkey. As you all know, there were 3 gunmen that went into the airport in Istanbul in Turkey, and they started shooting up the place. And then 3 of them were suicide bombers. Then they basically detonated their bomb vest. And what was very interesting, as my husband pointed out to me, one police officer who actually shot one of the terrorists went over to him with his gun pointed at him and saw the terrorist roll over on his side and saw that he had a bomb vest on, and the police officer took off in a dead run just as the man exploded himself. Now, folks, if you think this can't happen in the United States of America after all we've gone through, after all that's been happening, folks, you better stop and think again. You need to make sure that your communities are alert of what's going on. I just talked to someone at a private Christian school today, and they think that after what's been happening across this country, that even little places in rural areas could be targets. So we even had a shooting up there in Oregon just a few months back it wasn't a terrorist. It was a young, mentally disturbed man. But at the same time, folks, who would have ever thought in that little rural community, that small little community at a junior college where everybody knew everybody, that something like that would happen? So with that said in mind, folks, we're also aware of the fact that in Britain right now, that they're trying to say that the EU might just disregard the people's votes and might just act like it never even happened. In fact, now some of them are even calling for another referendum. So, folks, we need to pray for the people in Britain that their will and their desires will be heard, that their democracy, in effect, will work. But, folks, remember, this is a republic. The United States is a republic. And where some people have taken democracy around to say mob rules, no, I don't believe that democracy should be where mob is the ruling force here. We have to remember that we are founded as a republic as a nation, and that's what has been working for a long time, but it is broke. And because it is broke, because of our elected officials and representatives have forgotten who they work for, they've forgotten that we are over the Constitution, not under the Constitution, and not under their feet, that they don't have to control us, and they're not going to control us, and they should not control us. I remember seeing some of the Democrats get up when they took over the House the other day, and they did their little stand-in all night long. And a lady, I think she was from Texas, but I'm not sure, she got up in her beautiful white dress, and it doesn't matter what culture she's from. That really doesn't matter, but her words do matter. Her words were, we are in control, we will decide what goes, and we are in charge. I wanted to go through the TV set, folks, and strangle that lady around her arm and her leg and say, no, you are not in charge, you are not controlling us, and you do not know what's best for us. You forget that you work for us. So this woman in the House, this congresswoman, really has the attitude, because now she is in the Congress, that basically we are the little minutia beneath her feet, and that we're like little children, and we don't know what's best for ourselves, for our families, or for our country. And so we do, folks, need to take America back. We need to remind the Congress and the Senate, but primarily the Congress, who they work for. They work for us. And with that said, folks, I'd like to bring back for the fifth time this week David Zuniga, who's the CEO and founder of America Again. Folks, I am right now in the process of taking care and finishing up my membership, and I strongly encourage you all, please, to also, I already know how many hundreds of you were listening when he was on the show yesterday, and those are only the computers and the laptops that we are able to monitor. We can't monitor those of you that are on the iPads or the iPhones. So with the amount of people that I know that were out there just on their computers yesterday, if every one of you decided, number one, to join America Again for $9 a month or $108 a year to help pay for the expenses to bring back our country, what a small price to pay, and then you all go into your communities and have a small meeting like I'm going to do and try to bring at least 2 or 3 people into your town to help you with America Again movement, okay, folks? And if you're in a community of 10,000 people or less, it is really, really going to be easy to do that. So I strongly encourage you listen to what David has to say today. We will take questions at the bottom of the hour after we take our station break and we listen to our sponsors. And then when we come back, we will take questions at area code 208-935, 208-935-0094. That's 208-935-0094, and that will be after our station break, folks. With that said and done, David, welcome so much back to the New Concord Hour and the Microeffect.
Thanks, Maggie. Boy, you're really going there. You're you're learning a lot from my book or from the past broadcast. It's great. It's great.
I've been reading your book. I've been reading the online book, the one that's the free one that you told us about.
Right.
And I've received 9 emails from people that told me they've already read half of your book. And while we were on the show yesterday and you were talking, I think it was Liberty Rider, came on and said that they were just opening up your book and they were starting to read the book at the last 5 minutes of the show.
Good. It takes time. We're not readers anymore, we Americans, and so it takes time to get. We cover a lot of new ground here, and I'm going to just summarize it here as quickly as I can. And so this does take time to kind of deprogram all the stuff we've learned that's really messed us up since we were children. So I expect that it does take time for people, but just know that if you don't join, until you start doing something about the way things are, you can talk about it, you can argue about it, you can scream and yell about it. You're only helping the other side until you join and start doing something. So, okay, I'm going to wrap up the overview of the book, Fear of the People. And like Maggie said, you can get it on the website for free. And that's what we want. I don't want you to buy it. I want you to have it free. The PDF book is a lot better than the printed one. And as soon as I finish the 5th edition that I'm working on right now, I will put that one on PDF on the brand new website that goes up on July 28th. It goes live, God willing. Fantastic new website. So much nicer than what we have now. But anyway, that's 1 month from yesterday. Okay, so let me wrap up. I proposed at the beginning, four programs ago, that things are exactly the opposite of what most people think and what most people are whining about today. And you know, I include things like all of these reports about there's a killing here, there's a wreck over there, there's a bomb over there. Look, this is a huge world with over 6 billion people on it, and there's a lot of people die every day. It's been that way since the beginning. So if we constantly watch, we do this around the world in 90 seconds thing all day long, we're going to constantly be a bundle of nerves freaking out and doing nothing. Because it's a fearsome load of stuff that hits every day. And if you take it all in and try to think, oh no, what happened in, Bangladesh today? Look, you can pray for these people, but don't freak out about things. A lot of times you just need to turn it off. I promise you just need to turn it off. If it freaks you out and you're constantly a bundle of nerves, stop. Okay, I showed how, we talked about how we the people can take Congress out of Washington, D.C. forever, how that's going to change everything when we do that. But to do that, first we have to get 27 more state legislatures to ratify the original First Amendment. 11 have ratified it way back in 1789 through 90. 11 states ratified it, so we need a total of 75% of the states, which is 38 states. Since 11 have ratified, we need 27 more to get it. And that'll become our 28th Amendment, and it will mean that no congressional district can ever be more than 50,000 people, which is 1/15 the size of the average U.S. congressional district today. So when you shrink the people say, oh, no, that's too many, it's too many. Look, no, it's not. We have 7,383 members of the state legislatures right now for the same 320 million people. It's not too many if you bring them home. And now you're going to have very small districts, and so the United States Congress will never again be in Washington, D.C. It will now be split up. We will divide and conquer them. We will divide and conquer D.C. organized crime by doing this. So I talked about words, the words we use. And boy, Maggie, I see that you're really getting it, and I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy. Every time I hear somebody doing this, it's so cool. We say republic instead of nation, instead of country, republic. Remember that word. A republic is a group, is an alliance of sovereign states. And that's what we are. We are not a nation. A nation is a unified central government, a population with a unified central government over it. That's not us. Read the Constitution. We are a republic. I love that you get that. Okay, let's see. And
by the way, there's some people in the chat room that are saying that they love you. In fact, one of the persons in the chat room, known as Reb, R-E-B, says that, David, you need to get a daily show, that you are great.
Well, thanks, Reb. I appreciate it. I just don't have time. Right now, with 3 or 4 a week that I do, I do 15-hour days right now, 16, 17-hour days, and it's about as much as I can do. And we're behind on almost everything. And when the new website comes out and the new book comes out, if I ever finish it, it's going to get so much better, a lot more people, a lot more to do, and you'll see. You'll be able to get on the site, and you'll get a lot more on the site than you get now from this temporary site. So, Reb, just hang in there. 30 days from now, you're going to see a lot more. Okay, let's go back to the words we use. We talked about republic. Don't ever use nation. Whenever you're going to say that word, say republic. Okay. These are United States, plural. We are the United States, plural. That is plural, not singular. Okay. When we say grassroots, we put ourselves under their feet. Just like Maggie said a minute ago, we're not worms under their feet. Don't use grassroots anymore. That's not a good term. That automatically puts you in the wrong place. You're in the basement. You're not supposed to be there. Voter. Don't use voter anymore. That's not what you do. You're not their little robot to go and vote for them so that they have this arrogance like Maggie was just talking about where they think they own us and they run everything. Let me tell you how insane it is. Think about this. When we say elected official or elected leader, especially elected leader, I hate that term. If you say elected leader and you're their boss, remember, that's as insane. Think about this. If you're an employer and you started calling, let's say you had 50 or 20 or 8, whatever, employees, and you started calling them your elected leaders. Oh, my elected leaders. They would say, hey, why is the boss calling us elected leader? Well, because, I picked you from a group of candidates when I hired you. That's what we do. We pick these people from a group of candidates. We hire them. We send them up there. They screw us to the wall, and we call them elected leaders. How weird is that?
Very, very weird.
How backward is that? So this whole thing, and you know where this happens. This happens in the government schools every day from pre-kindergarten on. This is how this happens. If you want to know how we got so screwed up in the head, it was in the government schools. When the states run the education system and you can't opt out, and you're going to get taxed anyway, and so you've got to put your kid in the school because you don't have money. But if you got a voucher, a school choice voucher, and got at least your tax money back so that you could use it for a private school, how many people would keep their kids in the public schools? Not very many. And we would have really excellent schools. We would open the market up and we would have really excellent schools. So the schools have taught us to think all these backward thoughts, all these perverted, upside-down things. So the other thing I talked about, I think I mentioned when we use terms like when you write to a legislator, either federal or state legislator, and you write the honorable so-and-so, don't ever do that. Just because they use it on their website, they call themselves honorable, and their staffs, be sure to write to the honorable so. Oh, shut up. You write to me and call me the honorable. We have to start. In fact, whenever you write, hey, let's do this. Whenever we write to let's write in front of our name, the Honorable Patricia Jones or whatever. Put that in front of your name and then write to them as just John Smith, whatever. Don't use anything. Don't even call them senator or whatever. Just call them by their name. Put them in their place. We need to start taking this back ourselves and not being so perverse. I talked about monumental architecture. Now, that's going to be much harder to change. But those celestial granite domes, when we walk in there, we feel insignificant like a little bug. Our employees feel like our masters. Why? Because they office under that monstrous celestial granite dome with the 30-foot ceilings and the marble floors and all that. So that monumental architecture alone does a lot of programming, perverse civics programming to us and our kids and our grandkids and all that. So what we're doing with the Bring Congress Home Act, and I talked to you about the Bring Congress Home Act, we're going to bring them out. Congress comes out of D.C., out of that opulent atmosphere. We put them right back home in a modest lease office. That's it. an office like any of us would lease if we had a small, needed one or two offices. I talked about how that act, the Bring Congress Home Act, it's going to make each congressman work from only one modest office in their home district, have a maximum, for a congressman, a maximum staff of 2. They're going to get half their present salary, so about $90,000, $93,000 a year. That's a lot of money. No benefits, and they're going to be limited to 2 terms. And it's going to be similar for senators. 2 terms. They will probably still make their same salary because they have a lot more work. They will also have, probably a maximum staff. I think we were talking about 6 for a senator. And everybody's going to scream about, they're going to go bonkers. And, no, we need more. The senators will, because we're not going to go get all the senators up front. We're only going to be able to elect 33 new ones our first time through. And whereas with the congressmen, it's going to be a whole new slate of 6,250 or more. And they're all going to be newbies, and they're going to be fine with these terms, because they're not going to be lifelong politicians. So we're going to just completely flip over our the shape of our Congress. We, the people, are going to do this. So the Bring Congress Home Act is only the first of 22 reform laws. I told you about that. All 22 laws are found in Chapter 12 of my book, Fear the People. I told you how to get that book. Go to AmericaAgain.net, scroll to the bottom. The button says PDF book. Click it, get the book.
Now, there was a question here. Valerie Keel said, David, would you please put your website on Google Play, Play. Please put your website on Google Play, because just any Android does not work on all devices. Thank you.
Okay. Now, the new website is completely mobile responsive for all devices. We made sure of that. So the team that's working on it right now, it's called Blue Ivory Creative in Nashville, Tennessee. They are working to make this a far, 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 far better site than the one we have now. So if you can bear with us for 30 days, it's going to change anyway. So if we put this website on Google Play, it's still going to change. Everything's going to change in 30 days from now. So if you just hang in there one more month, you will see so much finer a website. And the website community is going to be really cool, broken down by state and by community, so that we can all start, setting up our groups and sharing information with one another, and who's doing what, who's going to send people to what, and all that. So,
and so that will be AmericaAgain.net, not .com, but AmericaAgain.net.
.net, yep.
Okay.
National network of people that are self-governing. Okay, so before we do all of the things that we want to do, take back, restore lawful U.S. money, ethical banking, restore the town militia in every town in America like we should have always had, take back our 640 million acres of sovereign state lands and all the oil and gas under them and all the timber on them and all, everything we need to take back. All of those things, that's going to take years. It may take fewer years than you think, because we may be able to really ram a lot of, if we have Great Depression 2 hit us in the face. And if it does, everybody's going to freak out anyway. We're going to have a very, very hard time. But during that very hard time, America, again, is going to go on all 12 cylinders. We're going to pull out all the stops, and we're going to try to ram everything through as fast as we can, because that's the time to do it. The bottom line is we need membership to grow, period. If you don't have a lot of people, you just can't do anything. You can say, oh, man, I love America. Oh, it's great, I love it. Look, you can say that all day long. You can click like until the cows come home. Until our numbers grow large enough to scare people in each state and to really make an impact, we're not going to do anything, folks. I mean, that's all there is to it. There's a lot of people in this country, and this has to grow. If you don't help it grow in your town, just start with you. And then just find one other person that'll join you. And that's how we're doing it. All of us on the team and all of the existing members, we're just saying, okay, I'm going to find one person in my town. That's it. Just one. And I did that a couple of weeks ago, and now the two of us are each finding one. We're saying, okay, we're going to make our team of 4 by each of us finding one more. And that's how we're doing it. And after 4, we don't care. We're looking for 4 people in the town. So right now, we're not trying for 50 and, big groups and all, none of that. So, okay. So I explained that when you build those 4 members, the only thing we need to do in this coming year is get 10 people to sign a proclamation sheet that we give you that we're going to read on the steps of all 50 state capitals on the same day at the same time. But we need to get those all filled out. So every one of the 4 of us in each town is going to get 10 people to sign. Go to the grocery store or wherever and say, hey, look at this proclamation. Is this not cool? Will you sign this? And you get 10 names and you're done. So you have 40 names per town, and that's what we're looking for. Nothing big, nothing fancy. We're trying to do, remember I said yesterday, think small. If you think small, you're going to win. If you try to think big too early, before we're ready, we're staffing right now on nothing. I mean, we're all volunteers. We're putting in our own money to run this. But right now, we just need more people. And so to get more people, you don't go for thousands. You go for dozens. You go for tens. You go for fives. Just a few people. So start by just you joining. Now, here's what we're going to do when we do our first thing, which is ratify the 28th Amendment, the original First Amendment. After we read the proclamation, we're going to then give them all of our proclamation sheets signed, however many thousand we have per state, a big fat ream of them. We're going to copy them all, give them to the governor, a copy to the House, a copy to the Senate. So we'll give 3 stacks of papers. We're going to give them the fact sheet that answers all their questions about bringing Congress home. That's going to be the next step. And the resolution. We've already written their joint resolution. They don't even have to do that. All they have to do is hold the vote. Read the resolution and hold the vote. That's it. So we're going to ask every single member of the legislatures of every single state. We're building that database now of 7,383 names, addresses, emails, phone numbers, and we're going to get every single one of them to answer on the record. Are you or are you not going to vote to ratify the first right in our Bill of Rights? Yes or no? Don't give me anything else. Yes or no? And we're going to do that to every one of them. Now, in the 11 states that have already ratified, they're not going to have that pressure play. But that's the first thing we're going to do, get everybody on the record. So it really changes when you're doing all 50 states at once and when you've got a national program going and when you show a really great website with lots of people and a leader in every state, and you've got this stuff going on at every capital, and you're forcing them to answer, and you're putting it in the local paper and on radio. Hey, look who says no. Look who says they're against the first right in our Bill of Rights. And you just start reading off their names. And that's how we're going to do this. All offense. We do not go on defense. So
that's wonderful. That's very inspiring. And I think that's what a lot of people have felt, is that we've been pushed into a place where we feel like we have to go on the defense and that we have to constantly be kowtowing to being politically correct.
So many people are playing games like that, and what we're saying is, look, this is all in our minds. It's all in our mind. This is a time in the whole world. This is a time of there are 2 very, very powerful things happening today in the world. In the whole world. And the first one is, I guess if you look at it this way, is that people are getting so much, like I said earlier to you, because you were kind of freaking out about the turkey thing. I hate to tell you, Maggie, these things are going to happen every month of every year for the rest of human history. It's the way things are.
We're going to go to a station break right now, and when we come back, I would like you to maybe go into that other part you were talking about, what happens once we speak on the Capitol steps. And then I'd like us to see if people want to call in. Folks, I know some of you are shy. Some of you feel that you get tongue-tied when you call to a talk show. Some of you are afraid that you're going to be recognized. You don't have to use your real name. You don't have to even use the real state you're calling from. But if you want to call and have any questions for David or America again, please call area code 208-935-0094. That's 208-934. 935. That's 935-0094. And David, when we come back, maybe we'll have some questions out there, because I know there's a lot of people that have concerns like, how can I do this? And being that only 1% of people of any organization seem to do all the work, how can I make sure that I can make a difference if I'm part of that less than 1%? So we'll come right back at the station break. Folks, this is Maggie Rose again, and you're back with the new Concord Hour being brought to you by the Micro Effect Radio Broadcasting Network. I'm pleased encouraging you all to patronize our sponsors that help to pay for our airtime so we can bring wonderful shows like this and guests like David, Zuniga, and America again here to educate us, inspire us, and teach us what it takes for us as a team to work together. You've all been hearing about the confiscation of guns in other countries and what has happened as a result of that. There's a story that just came over the news the other day, folks. An 11-year-old girl that won the championship shooting clay pigeons. And she was in the upstairs bedroom. She heard two men that broke in through her front door at the front of the house, downstairs. She came out the top landing. She'd gone to her dad's bedroom and found his weapon, and the burglars, when they were at the bottom of the stairs in her living room, as one came up to the top flight of the stairs, she shot him in two places below the stomach and killed him instantly. The other guy started to climb the stairs. She got him in the shoulder. He managed to stumble out into the street where he passed away. And it turned out that one of them had a handgun that they had stolen from one of her neighbors, and that neighbor had been stabbed to death before they stole the handgun. And then here these two same men were breaking into her home when she was home alone. Now, folks, I don't know what you think about this, but that 11-year-old little girl, I can only imagine what horrors could have met with her if she had not been taught how to shoot, how to defend herself, and how to be a responsible gun owner. Folks, we have right now the chat room. We have where Valerie's come up and said, guys and ladies, we're in this together. And Pet Monkey is asking David, this is our first question of the day, and hopefully we will have some listeners call into area code 208-935-0094. But Pet Monkey is asking David, do the signers have to be registered voters?
That's a good question. Oh, wait. No, they don't have to be registered voters because we don't use the... No, it was a joke. I don't like to say voter anymore. If you live here, you sign. If you live here, you sign. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, what about, illegal aliens? Well, hey, if illegal aliens start signing this, I say, great. We'll take them.
More power to them.
We have not answered that question yet. What we have on the document is a place to sign your name and then to give your town. Actually, it's your name, your email, and your town, what town you're from. So we don't, we're not going to say, hey, can we see your driver's license or your voter ID card or whatever. But, you were mentioning right before the break, Maggie, about the 1% thing. If we can't even get 1%, look, I told you, I think, at the very first time I was on your show, we are looking, our target is 0.5%. That is our target. Since this is law enforcement and we're not looking for, a popularity contest or any kind of a majoritarian thing, you don't need that when you're enforcing the law, especially the Constitution. So think about this. Oregon has, 4 million people. So 1.5% of 20,000. That's 20,000 people. Okay, imagine 20,000 Oregonians belonging to America again. 20,000. That's a lot of people working together in the state of Oregon on anything we would have to do in Oregon. You get 20,000 people together. That's a big. Okay, think of something. Look at Montana. They just went over 1 million just recently. Finally, Montana broke 1 million people population. That would they would have 5,000 America Again members if we reach our goal. 1.5%, you'd have 5,000 people in Montana. And if you've spent much time there, I've spent a little time there. I love the state. 5,000 people together with one tactical plan. That's a lot of people in the state of Montana. Now here in Texas, we're huge at 27 plus million people. 1.5% of Texans, we would have 135,000 members in this one state.
Well, then what about my native state of California? What can we do about my native state of California?
Well, we actually have quite a few members in California, and we're just right now, in fact today, I'm working on the Californians. I have not sent it out to them yet, but I'm sending all of our California members because we're looking for state coordinators for all the states, and we've got I think 12 so far, and they're joining up pretty regularly, and we need one for California, and actually for Oregon too. We're going to our Oregon members also looking for a state coordinator, and California's tough, but it's like Oregon and like Washington in that you have that east-west divide. You've got, the coastal and big cities are very liberal, and everybody else is very conservative. And so, but I mean, California, we've got a lot of people there, and a lot of good things happening. It's tough at the state legislature level. It is tough, but like I say, all we're doing is offense. We are not going to ask for anything. So then what do you do? One of the questions we have here, Pet Monkey is asking again, many people do not have or do email. So what do they do? What do they do for what? For what? To get a hold of America Again if they don't have email or do email. Yeah, if you don't do email and you can't get, some kind of a free account, any one of, Gmail or Hotmail or one of those, and start using it at the library or something, or some friend, at some friend's house, I don't know. We're just not set up. I mean, we do have about, I don't know, surely over a dozen members that, they send us a check every month for $9, and they send it in the mail, and it's a lot of work, it's a lot more trouble, and they send us letters, and they send us prayer, support, and lots of neat things, but if you're not on the internet at all, it's going to be tough. All I can say is we're only set up to operate through our website, and it raises an interesting question, because if the whole World Wide Web goes down one day, and maybe for a protracted period of time, what are we going to do? As far as we're concerned, we're going to start operating on ham radio, but very few members will be able to connect. So it's going to be interesting if that happens, and we just figure, you know what? It's like Y2K. I freaked out about it for months and months, and then nothing happened, and I felt really dumb after that. But, I was ready. Generator set and all of my stuff ready, and nothing happened. Anyway, don't know, Pet Monkey. I don't know what to tell you. You can write to us, and we've given you the address, and that's the only thing I can think of. Well, so what other questions have you had a lot of people asking you previously about their concerns about America Again, how they can become more involved, especially those people that say that at this point in time right now, they don't feel the confidence in themselves or what they're able to do. What sort of questions do people ask you? We get that a lot. All of us on the team get that one a lot. Like, well, I just don't think I can, what can I do? I'm not the type. I don't really do well with other people. I can't really reach out to total strangers. It's not my style. And we've told them, okay, on our website we've got a store, and it's just a plug-in through Zazzle, and we have yard signs, these big plastic yard signs that you put up. And I mean, you can stick a yard sign in your yard. You're not telling anybody anything. We have T-shirts, yard signs, bumper stickers. I mean, you can put a bumper sticker on your car, and it says, it's got one thing: bring Congress home, AmericaAgain.net. Things like that. I think it says prison for Congress, AmericaAgain.net. And we're making new ones. We're doing all that is going to look totally different 1 month from today. But you can do that. You can wear one of our shirts or use a bumper sticker or put up a yard sign, or we have both a trifold brochure, kind of a little flyer, that pretty much describes all the major aspects of America Again, what it is, why it is, what it's going to do, and in just a little trifold. It's small. So we have that, and that's going to be available on order. But right now we just send you, if somebody wants it, we send them the PDF and they get it printed at their local printer. And so you can hand that out at any kind of a, if you're at some function, some tea party type thing or Patriot function, you can start handing those out, and we've gotten very good response from them. We have a smaller item that's it looks like a business card. It's 2 inches by 3.5 inches, very small, and it says on the front or one side it says "Bringing Congress Home," and it's got the little Minuteman holding up the little donkey and elephant like two little trash bags carrying them home, and on the back side it's got sort of a spiel giving our Sunday night the number for our Sunday night calls, and the videos, the PDF book, and all that. It's very small. It's the size of a business card.
Well,
so
what
you can do that.
Rev said that some people can't do email because they're too paranoid. And then Joe Sixpack said, we will do like we did in the 1980s. We just dial up the bulletin boards. There's no need for internet. And then Pet Monkey said, well, in reference to your petition, what about the senior citizens? And Joe Sixpack said the fax modem in your computer, how many people really use it? So what I think is going on here, Valerie is asking, could you give out your actual snail mail address again on air for those people offline, folks?
Sure, yeah. The snail mail address is just, you can send it to either my name, David Zuniga, or better yet, just send it to America Again with a exclamation point on it. And it's all one word, by the way, America Again, leading capitals, exclamation point. And then it's the number one, the Arabic number 1, doe skin, DOESKIN, Drive, number 301, Bernie, and that is BOERNE, Texas, 78006.
Okay, and they can also email you if they do have a computer. And anybody who's listening to the show should have a computer, but many of them may be afraid to use email. But if they want to use email, they can find your email address right there on America Again. Now, also, I noticed in one of the emails you sent to me, and I passed it on to at least 3 of my listeners, and they actually told me they're reading your book right now. One of them just emailed me a few minutes ago and said they're almost complete with your book. What we'd like to know is a little bit more about your Sunday night national call. Every Sunday night you have a national conference call. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, what we do is sometimes I just preach because there's something really heavy on my heart, really hitting hard that week or in the news or whatever. But usually we work through something that the group has, something that they want to know, or something that one of our team says, hey, we need to talk about this. So we've done a lot of different things on the Sunday night calls. One thing that we do not do is shoot the breeze. Just sit around and shoot the breeze like some of these patriot groups do with their national conference. On a Sunday, certainly can find better things to do. If it's not going to be useful to everyone, or to most of the people, we certainly don't want to do it. We don't want to waste people's time.
Okay. And so then, but do you talk a lot about America again on that Sunday
That's all we do. That's all we do is we break down whatever people have a question about. Like, what about the Capitol Action Team? The people that are actually going to go to the Capitol. What do? We talk about doing a flash mob. How you get people together when you're there at the Capitol, and you want to take the pictures and maybe video while you're doing the proclamation. And you want to have as many people as possible, but you don't want to have to caravan with lots of people from all over the state and all of that. So you say, all right, you do a flash mob. And a lot of people don't know what a flash mob is. So we explained that one time. You just essentially, say you've got 3 or 4 people. You get to the Capitol, you go in 4 different directions to the sidewalks around the Capitol compound and out on the streets, around that block, and you just start handing people the flyer and letting them read it and say, we're going to do a proclamation in 15 minutes. It only lasts 5 minutes. Will you come join us? This is for all the American people. Will you come join us? And that's how you get people. And they just, sure, I'll do it for 5 minutes. So everybody congregates there at the steps, and you just pull together a flash mob. It doesn't take long. It's not hard to do. And most people, not all, are willing to do things like that. If you tell them what it is and you give them a flyer and you say, here's what we're doing, and especially when we do this one, because it's going to be in all 50 states at the same time, we think it's going to be very cool, part of history. So I would like to be in that picture. I think a lot of people would. So, and we're going to have all of them recorded. We're going to run video. Somebody's got to have a video or a phone with a video on it, and for those proclamations, for all 50, because we want this for posterity. We think this is going to be an historic event. So we've talked about that. A lot of times people just want to know, how do you, if we want to have a meetup, let's say. Some people are familiar with meetups. It's just meetup.com, and you can pay, I think it's $7.95 or $8 or whatever, and you have your own little website called Meetup, and you can call it anything. You can call it, whatever, Roseburg Plant Lovers Meetup. And so everybody in Roseburg that loves plants, they find that on meetup.com, and they say, oh, look, there's a group in my town. And so you meet once a month, once a week, whatever. And so some people are starting America Again meetups. And we say, oh, that's cool. I'm not into all that, but if you want to do it, do it. And so we've talked about that, what you do at the meetup. We've given people videos to show at meetups. We've given them, we have a PDF form and a, what do you call the other one, Microsoft, the presentation thing, whatever it's called. Anyway, to make slide presentation, and I'm sorry, I just got a brain fart. I can't remember what it's called. But so we've generated stuff. People want to have meetups in their town and meet every week or every month. What else have we done? We've just gone over a lot of detox. We've done a lot of what I did today and yesterday, just detoxing you from the words you've used, the thoughts you think, the way you look at these people that work for you. We've got to do that. It's going to take years for us to get out of this because we've been so programmed since childhood.
Yeah, I agree. And that's what it is. It's basically, as the guy who has a show before he says our minds are our greatest weapon. And what we need to do is take our minds and rewrite the programming that we've been given most of our life.
Yes. And see, the Internet really makes that point powerfully. And that's why from here on out, I don't know for how long, at least a generation, for 20 or 30 years, we're going to be seeing nation states crumble because they had to. There was a book, in 1997, I think, called The Sovereign Individual, written by James Davidson and Lord William Rees-Mogg, REES-MOGG, a British guy. Anyway, those two guys wrote this book. It's a great book. It's come out, I think there's a second edition out now, but it's, an 18-year-old book or something. But way back then, they were talking about how they were predicting how the markets were going to change, governments were going to change, large corporations were going to have a very hard time, a lot of new startups were going to be happening, breaking into whole new areas of life and creating just-in-time shipping and all kinds of interesting, just everything was going to change about the way the world is and the way humans deal with one another because of technology, because of the Internet. Well, what you just said about our minds are our greatest weapon, that's exactly right. The people who think, well, we have to lead with this whole militia thing and this whole Second Amendment thing and all that, I say, you're nuts. I love my firearms, and I've got a pretty nice arsenal, handguns, long guns, shotguns. I love shooting and all that, but I'll tell you what, if you think we're going to take this republic back by shooting our way through, I'd like to know what you're going to do on the second, third, fourth, fifth day. What are you going to do? What's your plan? How does that work out?
Exactly.
We have a Constitution that was won indirectly 10 years before by a lot of people shooting other people.
Right.
And they did it. Our forefathers did that so we wouldn't have to. That's why when Ben Franklin said what he said to Lady Powell when he was walking out of the convention, and she said, "What kind of a government have you given us, doctor?" And he said, "A republic, madam, if you can keep it."
Exactly. And
he meant what we're talking about here. We're talking about groups of 4 people. I mean, folks, this is not rocket science. You get 3 other people in your town, and you say, you know what? For my town, I'm going to create a little group, and that's all I'm going to worry about. And we all do this. There are 31,000 small towns in this country. Can you imagine how many people we can pull together if we think small?
Exactly. We start out one step at a time. One step at a time, folks, we can do it. If you can spare $5 a month to send to the microeffect, that would help keep us on the air for those of you that listen on a regular basis. And those of you, if you can't afford $9 a month to bring back your country, well then, you know what, folks? I don't know what to say. I figure $5 a month to the microeffect and $9 a month to America Again, and we are well on our way of taking back this country, and not just talking about it, but actually doing something. So with that said, David, thank you again, and thank all of your people on the board at America Again. Thank you for coming on in this 5-part series. For those of you folks who want to hear it again, Bonnie is going to be putting the microeffect and this particular 5-part series up on YouTube. That will be the New Concord Hour with Maggie Rose on YouTube. You'll find it there. It's the militia man that's holding his firearms. And folks, tomorrow, Thursday, we will be doing roundtable with the ladies. Tomorrow with Cy and with Donna and myself, ladies roundtable will be on Thursday tomorrow. David, thank you so much, and we hope to have you back here on the Microeffect in the near future.
Thank you very much, Maggie, and thanks to all the listeners.
Blessings to you and yours, David.
God bless you. Bye-bye.